When I sat down to write this post about I drew a blank. There's so much I want to talk about, but I was really struggling to frame it in a way that would fit my blog post format. And then I thought, well, hang on, this is exactly where AI is supposed to be able to help. So I opened up my ChatGPT app and started chatting. Everything ChatGPT came up with was okay. It was on topic, it was relevant, but it didn't grab my attention. It didn't feel like me. So I quickly realised that I was just chasing my own tail. My problem was that I wasn't clear on what I wanted to say, and that lack of clarity meant that ChatGPT couldn't really help me. The problem was the problem. So why am I sharing this with you? Because I want to show that sometimes even people who have lots of ideas hit a brick wall. Social media is full of people who appear to know what they're doing and look like they're doing it perfectly day in, day out. But appearances can be deceptive. And what I want to show is that while AI is definitely not a magic cure-all solution, used right, it can be very helpful. AI is not necessarily the threat that everyone says it is. It's often presented as being a tool that will replace artists, writers and thinkers, i.e. the end of creativity. But asking ChatGPT to help me clarify my thoughts and ideas didn't work. All it did was dig me in deeper. And in an odd way, I found that quite reassuring. AI isn't going to replace us anytime soon. In fact, it's our human imperfection that really sets us apart. Our uncertainty at times is not a weakness, it's what makes us who we are. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, hang on, Simon, you just didn't ask ChatGPT in the right way. You need to learn how to prompt better. Yes, I hear this a lot, especially from AI fans who are mansplaining to people who are not getting what they want from ChatGPT. So let me share with you how I've used AI in this context, because I think it'll help us understand a bit more about the possibilities and the limitations of what's available. Let's use writing this blog post as an example. If I ask ChatGPT to write a blog post about how AI is affecting coaches and consultants, I get a very generic answer with no real substance. It's unlikely to be wrong, but it's also unlikely to make any real point at all. It's certainly not going to be anything new. A better prompt would be to expand on what I'm asking by adding a specific task, context, format and tone. For example, write a 1,000-word blog post for coaches and consultants who are doing their own marketing about how generative AI tools are going to impact their marketing in terms of its reach and effectiveness. Structure the blog post in a short introduction, then explain the current thinking, followed by offering an alternative perspective. Then recommend what they can do to change and summarise the main points. This will give you a very different and much more specific result than that first prompt. The quality of AI output is directly proportional to the quality of your input, and that's basically a polite way of saying garbage in equals garbage out. AI is great at average, so if you're selling water bottles to yoga people, then an average blog will do the job. But if what you're selling is change, meaningful work and a process that takes time, effort and commitment from the client, then average isn't going to cut it. So you might be thinking, well, why didn't I use what AI gave me for this blog when I used that longer prompt? Well, to be frank, it still wasn't up to my standards. I got a bit bored reading it and I knew that my subscribers would too. Now, for full disclosure, I do also have a custom GPT that I've trained on my book and blog content, and that did get closer to the kind of thing I wanted, but it just still wasn't landing with me, and there'll be more on how that custom GPT works in a future podcast. So, you might be thinking, well, Simon, this all sounds good, but I've never managed to get anything good from ChatGPT, so I'm not surprised. And I get it. It can be frustrating when what you get back just doesn't live up to your expectations. While a poor result might be down to the limitations of AI, often it's a case of asking the wrong questions or not going deep enough with your instructions. If that feels like you, try giving ChatGPT a longer, more detailed prompt. Use this format to help you structure your prompt and include the details that you need. Try formatting your prompt like this: task, context, example, audience, format and tone. That prompt structure will help you include more of the details that ChatGPT needs. So AI is useful, but you're still essential to the process. I'm not saying that AI can't help with marketing, but what I am saying here is that sometimes you have to take a step back and really look at what you want, and maybe ask yourself if you even need AI in the first place. As I've said before, AI is a tool. It's there to be used, but also to be experimented with. In the past, I have found that AI has really helped me with articulating my ideas and concepts in new ways. This week, however, it didn't deliver, although the experience did prompt me to write a blog post and make this podcast. You've been listening to the Reframing Marketing Podcast with me, Simon Batchelor. If this episode has got you thinking, press follow so the next episode will automatically appear in your podcast app as soon as it's released. In my book, Reframing Marketing, I dive deeper into the podcast topics and offer a fresh perspective on marketing. It's a 3-step guide to practical and ethical marketing for coaches, consultants, and anyone who is marketing themselves and their work. You can order your signed copy directly from me at reframingmarketing.com. Until next time, happy marketing.